Hello everyone. Welcome to my YNR 24 spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Kane's demise, Chelsea's triumph, and Noah's tale. According to spoilers for the upcoming 2 weeks of The Young and the Restless, there will be some surprises. Fans can anticipate the start of Noah Newman's new narrative from October 6th to October 17th. Everything might be lost for Kane Ashby. Additionally, Victor Newman rewards Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman. Let's discuss the upcoming events in the CBS soap opera as you continue reading. Kyle Abbott's threats. Let's discuss the upcoming events from October 6th to 10th before moving on to the 2-weekers. For starters, Audra Charles and Kyle Abbott will still be at odds with one another. Kyle won't have much motivation to act appropriately now that Claire Grace Newman has broken up with him. The risk to Mariah Copeland. Daniel Jr. and Tessa Porter will return to Genoa City. The blonde wonders if they found anything when they visit Sharon Newman. As the singer affirms that they did learn anything about Mariah Copeland, Tessa and Daniel both have worried expressions. Tessa will still worry about Mariah's safety later in the week. The week of October 6th, 2025. Additionally, fans will witness Nick grilling Phyllis Summers. Later in the week, Phyllis is discovered to be in a precarious situation. Nikki Newman and Jill Abbott declare a truce. Jack Abbott, meanwhile, makes an effort to persuade Kane to act morally. Later, Jill and Lily Winters both confront Kane. Victor also gives Adam and Chelsea incentives. Nick goes feral elsewhere. Danny and Christine Blair are also present. It seems they will make a huge decision concerning their wedding. Will there be another delay, or will they simply elope without the elaborate ceremony? In any event, be prepared for some twists and turns. Spoilers for the next 2 weeks of The Young and the Restless. Fans will see Sharon's arrival in Los Angeles during the week of October 17th, but Nick will not be present. A little later, Nick will appear. Noah and his new club in Los Angeles will be involved in some sort of controversy. Remarkably, Claire and Holden Novak are in Los Angeles as well. Keep an eye out for the drama, as it is hinted that Victoria Newman will pursue her daughter. Nick and Sharon reunite, but their children's needs can drive them apart. According to previews on The Young and the Restless, Sharon Newman is needed to aid her kids. However, Noah Newman and Mariah Copeland have rather different demands. In drips and drabs, viewers have been informed about Mariah's alleged attempt to kill an enigmatic elderly man. With Sharon joining the battle, hopefully the peculiar presentation of the new plot and the length of time that tale has been given slowly will soon come to an end. Noah, the son of Sharon and Nick Newman, requires assistance with a new club on his own. Devoted viewers are aware that Nick's previous ownership of the Underground, which turned out to be a doomed location, is connected to Noah's fascination with nightclubs. Previously at the Underground, at one point, Nick saw himself as an entrepreneur. Years before Nick's focus shifted to New Hope's philanthropic endeavors, his objective was to create a popular destination for the people of Genoa City, Wisconsin. Victor Newman thought it was unwise for Nick to open that type of business. That occurred during a time when Morrow's character was unable to tolerate playing the corporate game. Tragic events led to the collapse of the Underground. Years later, on her protracted Alzheimer's journey, Dina set fire to the establishment. In the end, Adams received a Daytime Emmy Award, which was appropriate for such a terrific actor. According to Mariah Copeland, she killed a man. For months, Mariah has been struggling. It took a while before she started talking about her thoughts. Mariah has disclosed that she used a pillow to suffocate a man in a torturous story. Another mystery is why she was drawn to that particular individual, who was several decades her senior. Tessa Porter and Daniel, who Mariah lately and weirdly confided in, performed some recent exploring. Sharon, who wants to do everything in her power to support her daughter, was shaken by the news they brought back to town. But as long as Mariah won't let her loved ones participate in any potential solution, it will be difficult. Nick Newman has another chance to turn his life around. Months earlier, Sharon expressed her willingness to consider a reconciliation with Nick, though he was reluctant to pursue a courtship that would result in remarriage. His feelings for her have grown. Nick freely said that he was worried of hurting Sharon the way he had in the past. She retorted, however, that they had reached a different stage of maturity and that she had also injured him. Many who have followed the tales of Sharon and Nick are aware that they changed almost 20 years ago with the untimely death of Cassie Newman. Those who still think that Sharon and Nick's love is more profound than their relationship through their kids are part of that group, as are more recent admirers. Perhaps Nick will come to his senses and take a chance with Sharon in GC or Los Angeles, California. If so, a significant portion of the audience will probably accompany them on a journey of redemption and healing. Act 1. The repercussions of heartbreak and Kyle Abbott's threats. The week opens off with Kyle Abbott plunging into a wild streak after his separation with Claire Grace Newman. Once seemingly destined to unite two dynasties, the relationship is now in ruins. Claire ends things in search of independence and tranquility, leaving Kyle to deal with a terrible emotional void. In typical Kyle way, his suffering shows itself as defiance rather than reflection. He starts to lash out at Audra Charles, exchanging scathing jabs and provocations. Another round of risky flirtation is promised by their electrifying and volatile chemistry. Audra isn't one to back down, and Kyle's goading just fuels her drive to regain control. At Society, viewers might anticipate a furious altercation that shakes both individuals. When Summer Newman learns of Kyle's careless actions, he will tell him that he is damaging his reputation at Jabot. However, Kyle may not listen until it is too late, since he is too overcome with pride and sorrow. Act 2. The ghosts of guilt and Mariah's absence. There is a noticeable tension as Tessa Porter and Danny Jr. return to Genoa City. Their faces are filled with unsaid anxiety when they first see Sharon Newman at Crimson Lights. With decades of survival and grief, Sharon has developed a maternal instinct that she recognizes immediately. Tessa's tentative nod in response to Sharon's question regarding if they have discovered anything concerning Mariah Copeland says it all. When the truth is told, Sharon loses her cool. It turns out that Mariah thinks she killed a man, and not just any man, but an enigmatic older man whose relationship to her is still a mystery. The jumbled and fragmentary flashbacks point to an emotional tie that was far deeper than anyone had anticipated. Was it a mentoring relationship? Infatuation? Feeling guilty? Or something else entirely? Fearing about her wife's mental health, Tessa discloses that Mariah admitted to suffocating the man with a pillow. Although it's unclear if the deed was genuine or deluded, Sharon's world descends into disarray once more. Over the course of the week, Sharon's maternal instincts become more intense. She pledges to find out the truth, no matter the cost. But since someone appears committed to keeping Mariah's background hidden, her objective puts her at odds with Tessa and Daniel, who are worried that going further could reveal greater danger. Act 3. The crossroads of Nick Newman. Noah Newman, one of Sharon's children, starts his own narrative in Los Angeles while she deals with the problem of another child. His new club, The Revival, is a modern, moody reimagining of the underground, his father's former dream. Longtime fans will recognize one of Y&R's most recognizable plotlines in Noah's project. Nick previously opened the Underground, a venue that came to represent freedom, rebellion, and heartbreak, in an attempt to get away from the corporate trappings of Newman Enterprises. It was the scene of secrets, celebrations, and even catastrophes. Years later, Noah's resuscitation of that notion shows a desire to not just respect, but even surpass his father's legacy. However, things are not always easy in Los Angeles. There are rumors that Kane Ashby's previous associates may have been involved in money laundering, dodgy investors, and stolen ideas. It's possible that Kane's demise and Noah's club are not even coincidental. Claire Grace and Holden Novak are also in town as Noah ventures into this glitzy yet dangerous world. and their paths will unavoidably cross. Claire's desire to move on from Kyle may lead her into Noah's circle, triggering an unexpected bond that might shock the Newman family once again. Act 4. The decline of Cain Ashby. Cain Ashby, meanwhile, is disintegrating back in Genoa City. Cain, who was formerly a self-assured businessman and a loving family guy, is now surrounded by adversaries and plagued by memories of his previous transgressions. Cain is now viewed as a burden by Jack Abbott, who formerly thought of him as an asset. They will engage in a violent altercation. Cain is urged by Jack to do the right thing and reveal the false documents, dubious alliances, and covert transactions that jeopardize Chancellor Winter's reputation. Cain, however, declines out of desperation and pride. When Jill Abbott and Lily Winters corner him, the reckoning happens quickly. It's going to be an explosive scene between these three. Jill seeks answers because she is upset that her protégé has tarnished her reputation. "You didn't just betray the company. You betrayed everyone who ever believed in you," says Lily, who is divided between compassion and rage. At last, Cain's mask breaks. He acknowledges that he has cut corners, struck deals with the wrong people, and gambled everything and lost. Cain confronts both financial loss and personal exile as his empire falls apart. Even his family finds it difficult to forgive him once Genoa City abandons him. Cain, a fallen man with only one shot at redemption, will have to leave town by the end of the storyline. Act 5. The calculated reward of Victor Newman. The ever-calculating Victor Newman consolidates his hold on power as others fall. The mustache senses opportunity as turmoil breaks out because he is a master of timing. Victor calls Chelsea Lawson and Adam Newman to the ranch. They are tense. They still harbor grudges and betrayals from the past. Surprisingly, though, Victor commends them both for their tenacity and devotion during his most recent plot, which included Cain's exposure and the covert reclaiming of Newman's assets. Adam receives a position of trust from Victor, which could include responsibility over a new Los Angeles-related project or a temporary co-CEO post. His reward for Chelsea, however, surprises him even more. Chelsea has been recovering from grief, controversy, and near-death situations for years. Her recovery from mental illness, her renewed commitment to her son, and her self-control when interacting with Adam have all been acknowledged. Victor's gesture is a test as well as a reward. It can be a significant investment in her creative studio or fashion line. Chelsea is moved but cautious because she is aware that Victor's kindness always has a catch. She informs him, "You are giving me a gift. However, I keep thinking that you're also setting a trap." Victor's smile speaks for itself. Act 6. Phyllis spirals and Nick goes rogue. In another scene, Nick Newman starts to grow impatient with his father's deceit. Nick goes crazy when he finds out that Victor has been giving money to Adam and Chelsea, two people he still has misgivings about. Reminiscent of his childhood, Nick begins to question Victor's intentions since he believes the reward is a part of a bigger scheme to topple the Newman family's power structure. His quest reveals long-forgotten documents and former business competitors that have the power to alter everything. In the meantime, Phyllis Summers is in yet another precarious situation, both physically and symbolically. She is caught by Nick during one of her covert plots, which sparks a heated argument. In her heart, Phyllis is hurting, unemployed, ostracized, and on the verge of another self-destructive spiral, but her pride won't let her give up. Their encounter reignites old sparks but also deep wounds. "Do you never change?" Nick yells. Perhaps I'm not the only one who finds it difficult to move on. Several storylines will be affected by their tension, particularly as Danny and Christine deal with their own dilemmas. Act 7. The wedding dilemma for Christine and Danny. Time and circumstance test love for Christine Blair and Danny once more. Following months of waiting, the pair encounters yet another challenge, and rumors start to circulate about whether they will break up or elope. Christine's hesitancy stems from fear rather than love. Can she really believe that this will be the last chance after decades of second chances? Meanwhile, Danny is prepared to disregard caution. Despite being more subdued than Genoa City's corporate conflicts, their plot appeals to viewers who have watched this pair come and go. One thing is certain, whether or not they say, "I do," the ghosts of their past continue to walk by their side. Act 8. The trip of Sharon to Los Angeles. Sharon Newman takes a plane to Los Angeles as Genoa City's dust settles. She's escaping from something, but she's also committed to helping Noah start his new company. With their sleek nightclubs, sunlight terraces, and nostalgic memories of the underground, Los Angeles scenes are absolutely stunning. However, there is tension beneath the glitz. Sharon believes Noah is in more serious difficulty than he acknowledges. His employees are evasive, his investors are dubious, and his behavior is unpredictable. He dismisses her when she confronts him, but the dread in his eyes betrays a different narrative. Sharon, however, is unable to deny her increasing consciousness of Nick's absence. Even though he said he would see her later, his tardiness seemed to represent their separation. The reunion is tearful yet brittle when Nick eventually shows up. The couple reflects on their past, their children, and the mistakes that shaped them as they enjoy a peaceful moment together while gazing at the city skyline. "You never fail to show up," Sharon murmurs. Nick's answer is straightforward. "Always will." However, the reality of their kids' problems, Mariah's shame and Noah's spiraling, pulls them apart once more just when it looks like they might find their connection again. Act 9. The Underground Once Upon a Time. The authors skillfully create a full-circle narrative by connecting Noah's new plot to the underground. Viewers are reminded of the club's history through a sequence of flashbacks, including its founding, its demise, and its flaming annihilation at Dina's hands as she deteriorated with Alzheimer's. Nick's dashed desire turns into a menacing representation of his vulnerability and independence. Sharon feels the weight of history repeating as she recalls those times. The revival is Noah's attempt to redefine the Newman legacy, not just a business venture. However, he might be reopening scars that will never completely heal by bringing back a dream that was formed out of defiance. Act 10. The concurrent redemptive tales. The common notion of redemption is what gives these entwined arcs their potency. Noah looks for atonement for his emotional detachment and artistic shortcomings. For a crime she may not have committed, Mariah seeks atonement. Cain tries to be saved, but he might not be able to. Although Chelsea's tranquility may not last long, she is rewarded for her redemption. After decades of preparation, Nick and Sharon are finally getting their second opportunity at emotional redemption. They are all plagued by ghosts that they created in their own unique ways. Act 11. The Upcoming Storm. Storms to come are hinted at in the last scenes of this 2-week storyline. Under cover of darkness, Cain departs Genoa City, humiliated and alone. However, he makes an enigmatic phone call to a person in Los Angeles before leaving. As Noah celebrates the revival's big opening, a former investor gives him a mysterious warning. "You believe this is your club? Rethink your thinking." Trembling in a dark hospital hallway, Mariah confronts the guy she believes she killed, whom she had assumed was dead. Chelsea opens a letter with Victor's seal when she is outside of Newman Media. It contains a deed, a fortune, and a condition. Between two coasts and two crises, Sharon and Nick must make the painful decision to either preserve their children or save one another. One thing is clear as the episode comes to an end and the music starts to fade. Genoa City will never be the same. Last thought. At its heart, the young and the restless. This plotline essentially captures the combination of legacy, love, ambition, and treachery that keeps the young and the restless going strong after several decades of broadcasting. Each generation is a reflection of its predecessor. The children bear the load of their father's sins. It is the same zeal that propels the Abbotts ahead that also destroys them. Finding his own voice in a family that defines power is at the heart of Noah's story, which goes beyond a new club. Kane's demise is due to ego and the price of lying to oneself, not merely commerce. Regaining dignity in a world that once broke her is Chelsea's reward, which goes beyond money. And when Sharon and Nick reunite, their tale serves as a reminder that love, no matter how brittle, may still find its way home, even in a community characterized by treachery.